Oh, we're streaming live now. All right. We're just going to bypass the intro today. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know where that went, but that's fine.
That's okay.
We
We're
are
doing
owning
it today. We're just rocking and rolling. Well, all right, cool. There's Chris James. Chris James. All right. Thank you guys for being here. So sorry we kind of just threw the ball right in. That's okay. So today I have Angel here with me again because we just have way too much fun, I think. Oh, there we
Yep,
go.
absolutely.
Yep.
Sorry, I wanted to go ahead and add something, but there we go. We're good. We're good. Carlin and I are both technically challenged a little bit, but we got through it. We got it. We're here. We're live. It's all good.
And we did it all by ourselves today. Okay. So last week we kind of talked about some of the challenges that we face in our personal lives as well as professionally. And bringing that back around, we got a lot of feedback, Angel. I had so many people reach out to me and say that hearing some of the challenges that we've gone through personally, professionally, emotionally kind of resonated with them. And so I felt like it was important to bring you back on today and really hit home on a part two of not only like how those challenges have affected us, but really what we did to be able to overcome that obstacle, to really push through that hurdle. Because we hear a lot about how people have these challenges, and we hear a lot about the after success.
Right.
But there's still that gap in the middle of what did you do? How did you get there? Who did you talk to? What skills did you really develop? And so I thought it would be really cool to bring you back on today and kind of deep dive into what we were doing, how we got here.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I will say that it has been a very long journey. A lot of learning, a lot of growing. If I think back over a year ago, and I, I will stand by this statement till the end of time. You can take in a lot of learning material, a lot of mentorship, all those good things. There's great programs out there that definitely teach you the right way to move forward. But if you aren't personally prepared to do that, with the right mindset, um, the right way to change things that need to be changed so that you can get the most out of those learning opportunities, it's still not going to move you forward. And I was stuck there for a while
Yeah.
because what I found was the goals that I the goals I was creating for myself weren't in alignment with who I am, like spiritually, emotionally. All that stuff has to be aligned. Otherwise, you're not going to. We kind of talked about consistency last week. You won't stay consistent because it's just too hard. Okay. Because you're fighting to reach something that's not part of who you truly are at the core. Okay. So, like money's, I think, one of those great examples because everybody chases money, right? When you don't have it, that's all you think about. I need to make more money. How am I going to make more money? What can I do to make some more money? Right. But money is a byproduct of doing something that you love and that's aligned with you, spiritually, emotionally, business wise. It's a byproduct of those things, so you can't chase that. It will naturally come to you when you're aligned. So, again, just to circle back around to, sticking to that statement, you have to be aligned with your goals, true alignment at your core with your goals for things to start moving forward. And I was not at all, in any way, shape, or form, aligned with my true core, a year or two ago.
Yeah, I can say that I've done that where you kind of jump into something because that's the next thing that everybody's doing, and it doesn't really resonate. And so you're kind of, at least for me, I was pushing and pushing and pushing. It was like, okay, I'm going to force myself to be good at this because everybody needs to be able to fit it in. And I didn't realize the core of me, I'm really good at connecting people. I don't really identify as a connector. I don't put myself into that category specifically. But if you need to know someone, I know how to get that introduction made. And that's where I found that I really brought peace to myself, because I like we met in the elephant challenge, or part of it. And hi guys, part of what I was trying to do, and actually I was working on this with Miri specifically, was learning how to underwrite. And I myself, I'm very good with numbers, but I don't like numbers. Like it's not where I feel most satisfied. So I'm sitting there forcing myself to be good at underwriting, to be consistent with underwriting. And it just became so draining. And it felt like a chore. Like I felt like kind of like a 7th grader being forced to do laundry. if that
terrible.
makes sense. Yeah, like it felt pressured and forced. And until I got through that pressure, until I got through that point where it just dawned on me, I was like, this isn't what I'm happy doing. Can I do it? Yes. Do I enjoy doing it? Most certainly not. So it wasn't until I really circled back around and figured out I like helping people. Truly, truly. If you need help with something, I'm your girl. It just, that's where it was.
That's definitely one of your superpowers, is helping people. I would have to agree with that 100%. And, I mean, that's something that you found along the way in the journey, right? Figuring out what you liked, what you didn't like, what aligned with you at your core. I didn't really come to the understanding of that until, a little later on. One of my initial goals was that I wanted to be consistent, just consistent. I wanted to put my focus on one thing. Jesse talks about this all the time, is, putting the blinders on and just focusing and being consistent in one area. And that's what I needed. I needed to be consistent, because the prior couple of years, I did wholesaling, acquisitions, all that stuff. And I was good at it. I mean, it wasn't anything I was failing in per se, but it's not really what I wanted to do. Right.
Yeah.
I could cold call till the cows came home, and it was great. Like I said, I wasn't bad at it. I just didn't enjoy it. That's not really what I enjoy doing. So when I had the opportunity to become a TC, I saw that really for me as an opportunity to find some structure. Okay. Because paperwork is very, just straightforward. This is what you've got to do every day. It's very consistent in itself. That's what I needed. And, I went into that, and it was very honest with Chris when I went into it. I didn't just want to be a TC, but I knew that was a good spot for me. I know that I learn fast. I know that I'm organized. I know that I can pretty much absorb anything, so it just felt like a good spot for me to get really consistent and practice that consistency. And it did, every day, same time, every day, I was doing the same thing, learning the same, learning something new, being able to put it into action, because that's a misstep for a lot of people, is they take all this time learning things, but then you never take it and put it into action. Right. So why waste the time to learn it? If you're not going to learn it and put it into action, it just, it's like dried grass. It just goes to the wayside. So that particular position gave me the opportunity to do that. I was able to learn and put into action consistently, daily, every day I was able to do that. And, it's turned out to be a very, very rewarding piece of what I do in my business. And I love it. And it keeps me consistent, keeps me on track. But, that's not the only thing that I'm doing, right? So I have other things that I'm also working on, and learning to fold each one of those pieces of the puzzle into that structure and that consistency and that alignment. Okay, because along the way, when you do that, as you do start to implement other things into just your daily business, you start to really you unlock what's for you and what's not for you, right? Because I've done, like I said, I've done a lot of things not just in the real estate realm, but outside of that too, personal goals and things that I try to achieve. And you do learn when you're focused and you're consistent in doing it every day. After a certain amount of time, you're going to go, yeah, this is probably not for me. This doesn't really fit right in the box, right? This is not what I'm passionate about. This really doesn't align with my true end goals. So it's a learning experience in itself. But again, if you don't do it every day, you're not consistent with it, you're never going to get that feedback, and you're going to continue to chase something that may not have ever been for you in the first place.
It sounds kind of silly, but as you were saying all of that, I was thinking of Tetris. That's what came into my mind. It's like each thing that is important to you. You've got like the T pieces, you've got the Z pieces, you've got the straight lines. And when something doesn't align with you, it's like turning one of those pieces the wrong way.
Yes.
And then now you have a gap, and
you can't build on it.
You can't build on it. That's
right.
Because each line, it drops and you're able to stack and see everything really come together. And when that piece is just a whole, it becomes a distraction almost.
Yes.
Like you're trying to figure out how to fix that one line, and you stop focusing on building on top. And so that's kind of like the image I had in my head.
The most fantastic example that I think anybody could have given, because that you just really put it like in a visual for me, what I just said. And that was fantastic, because you're right. that one gaping hole is going to suck all of your energy out of you, because you keep feeding something that doesn't fit.
You're just like, oh no, how do I fix this line? And
exactly.
You're losing the game, because now it's stacking up, and you can't.
And eventually what happens? Boom. It all comes crashing down because you didn't keep that focus on the things that you were aligned with. So yeah, I mean, that was probably one of my biggest takeaways from 2023, was learning what fits, what's in alignment, what's going to keep me in a building mode, because I do want to continue to grow and build, and then also being able to, take out anything that doesn't fit that alignment any longer. So I'm going to think about Tetris every time I talk about this now. That was really fantastic. Really fantastic.
That's just what popped into my head, but I resonate with that so deeply, because 2023, and this cracks me up, because every year someone says, oh, this is going to be the best year ever. And every year my response is, it's going to be the best year ever until next year.
That's right.
When I learn 10 times more than I learned last year. And 2023, I learned a lot about who I was, but I learned more about who I was not, because there were obstacles that I came across that I was like, this doesn't make me feel satisfied. And I think that's where it all really pieces together. And there were partnerships that I had to separate from. There were relationships I had to break off, because it took more energy out of me than put energy into me to be able to feel like that was actually something that needed to be in my life. And I just, everything you just said, Angel, I resonate with that on such a deep level, because fundamentally, it just, find your superpower and focus on it. It didn't align with my superpower.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know, it wasn't so long ago. I think it might've been a House of Cards podcast Jesse and Chris were doing, and we're talking about superpowers. And I remember Freddie saying something about superpowers, and it like just dawned on me, I have no idea what my superpower is. What is my superpower? And the funny thing is, like, when you ask somebody, people see you differently than you see yourself, right? A lot
Very.
of people, I think I even said, I might have said it at the time, was like, love is my superpower, because when I love, whether it's friends, relationship, what I love hard and I love deeply, and there's no deviating from it. If I love you through and through. If I love doing this, I love doing it and will continue to do it always. Um, just a very loyal, loving person, you know. But then other people see a different side of me. Like if I were to, ask people, what do you think my superpower is? It's probably not going to be love because not everybody sees that part of me, right? Other people see different things. Um, some people see me as more uh, assertive or even maybe aggressive, because that's the way I handle business, or that's just the side they've seen of me. But so when I think of a superpower, I'm like, it really needs to be something that everybody could identify me to, right? So a lot of people that know me most people that know me would obviously be love. That would definitely be one of my superpowers.
I agree with it.
But again, I'm still searching for what that superpower is. So for those of you who don't know your superpower, it's okay. You will figure it out just like I will. I'm still working on that. But like you, I've had, I kind of went through the list of things like, connector. I do connect with people very well. And I do connect people to people very well, but it's definitely not my superpower. I like to do it and I'm happy to do it, but more as of a simple service.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this person would connect them. And sure, there's opportunity to make money off of it, but that's just not what I concentrate on. I just like to connect.
Yeah.
So, and of course, TC. So, TC is probably a superpower. It probably is. I love to do it. And it's very rewarding for me. I love my team. But I don't know if I wouldn't box myself in as just as TC either, right? So I'm still on the superpower search, truly, to know what that is.
So one of the ways that I found, I would say my superpower is just helping people. And the way I found that is I sat down one day. I was in this deep hole of woe is me. It was like I dug myself way down there. And I was sitting there, I was like, what am I good at? What do I actually, where do I fit into this? And so I started reflecting on the things I enjoyed doing growing up. And one of the things that I've always enjoyed is helping the homeless. Like I love it. I've got a friend named Vincent. He makes crosses. He blessed my baby when he was born. And it goes back to something I've enjoyed doing. And so I was digging deep and I was like, okay, so I've always enjoyed helping the homeless. I've always enjoyed, helping other people. And so I started writing these down, and the reoccurring word in all of that was help. And it just like dawned on me. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I'm a helper. That's what I do. Don't understand how to do something? Let me help you. You need something done that you don't know how to do? Let me help you. Let me figure it out for you. And that was just like, it was this light bulb moment. Like Thomas Edison would have been so proud. I would, bing.
I love that. And Larry, you're definitely a storyteller. Great stories. It's really funny though, because that's one thing that I'm trying to practice on, Larry. And, I know most of you guys heard me say it last week. I'm not normally a sharer. Like, I like to share my knowledge, but like personal stuff, I'm just not a sharer. I've just never really been that way. So, and I think about it and I'm like, God, I have so many years of tough times, tough situations, obstacles I've overcome, challenges, and I just don't know how to share that. I've got to learn to be a better storyteller because I have tons of stories that could help people, but I haven't quite figured out yet how to formulate them to get them out. So we might have to talk, Larry. You might have to help me out my storytelling game. But I want to do that. I do want to share. I think I have a lot of, especially with women. I think I have a lot of stories that would definitely resonate and could help them overcome challenges that they, are facing or have faced. So that's something in 2024 that I'm definitely working toward, is to be a better storyteller, to share that knowledge that I have gained over the years.
I think that is a fundamental part of being able to get through.
Love you too, Larry.
Oh, Larry. I think it's a fundamental part, asking for help, learning how to leverage the people around you, because we've built this society almost where, and it's crazy because I didn't realize it until I got into real estate, that it is very, very okay and very encouraged to ask for help. And you don't really hear that through most communities. Like, you don't,
Yeah.
like think of high school. Oh, you're going to take a test. Put these little dumb folders around you so you can't see the person next to you. Isolate yourself so you can't get the help you need if you don't know something. And so we grow up in this little isolation box. And it's not until we go older that someone's like, why didn't you just ask for help? I know how to do that.
Right.
Let me show you. And so I think that's something that is highly underrated and definitely not encouraged enough, is just leveraging the people around you to be able to push yourself a little bit further.
Yeah. And I still really struggle with that piece. I grew up in a time when it was, life's not fair, suck it up, soldier, figure it out, don't ask questions, just do what you're told. That's, just for Gen Xers out there, it's kind of how that's how we grew up. You just figured this shit out on your own and did it. Rarely were you expected to ask for help. And I still struggle with it now.
You're breaking a mold, though. Like, I've seen you ask for help.
And I have. And that's a constant improvement that I have to mentally be aware that I'm doing all the time. I feel more comfortable now asking for help when I need it, but also I'm a very, I don't want to say empathic person, but I can feel people really well. So if I'm talking to you and I'm asking you for something, I can immediately feel whether you really want to help me or I'm irritating you, or those I can feel people's vibrations. So I find myself a lot when I do ask for help, and I get that sense that it's an irritation versus somebody really wanting to help or support me. I just shut down, and really I should just push on. Yes, I asked you the question. Now I expect an answer, right? I don't care if it's irritating you or it's not. That's where I continue to fall short. I'll back it up a little bit and just go ask somebody else if I need to. And really, you should just push through. And that's in any situation, whether it's business, personal, whatever. If you ask a question, you should expect an answer. And I have to do better with being okay with irritating people if I ask a question. I don't want to be an assco, but I do. I have gotten better about that, and that's something I will continue to work on, is being able to ask for support when I need it, because that is a struggle.
It's an evolving process.
Larry, I don't know. I was going to answer Larry's questions real quick. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Carlin?
We are not going to be there, unfortunately. James, we've already taken time off for April for a wedding, so.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The military they have fuzzy handcuffs on us, and it's not enjoyable.
Oh no. Okay, well, maybe we'll see you there, Larry. Finding the wind and Paula. I love it, Grady.
Very, very empowering. Grady, that's something that everybody needs around them. So yes. I think that goes to go, like, that fits perfectly with making sure you're seeking your support group. And we hit real hard on that last week, Angel, with making sure that you have your community, you have your tribe. And Grady, you just need to be in everybody's tribe, man.
You do. Oh, and thank you so much, because I am really trying to work on that, and it's nice to hear that. So I appreciate it, Grady. Thank you very much. That's nice.
Yeah, just
makes me feel good.
Julie, hey, now I can comment. Heck yeah.
Hey, Julie. Yeah, so you just, I think this is definitely one area that's hard for me to, honestly give at this time, to honestly give the best advice on. But all I can say is I'm actively working to do a better job of asking for support when I need it. I know we have had several conversations over time, Carlin, and one time I believe I called you crying, which I never do. I'm not a crier. But I literally felt like my world was falling apart at that moment. And it took everything I had. It doesn't matter how much I love you and how near and dear to me you are as a friend. It still bothered me to my core to reach out crying, just to say the words, my world is falling apart. It was like a shock to my system because I'm not used to sharing. Just not. So, that is an area where I have to continue to try to fail forward. I have to be, nobody can ever help you if you don't ask. Right. So I have to be able to get better with asking. So that is definitely on my fail forward growth opportunities in 2024.
And those are wins though. And I mean, you've gotten to see like the evolution of my brain, basically. Like I've sat on the phone crying with you.
Yeah.
And to be at a point where I have someone that I'm comfortable calling and saying, hey, I'm having a really hard time. What am I supposed to do? And it's different because you have friends that you can call and you're like, hey, I'm having a hard time. And they let you stay in that hole. That's the problem, is you have people and you become a little bit more isolated, and it becomes harder because you can't call people that are going to let you stay in that hole. As Angel, that's why I appreciate the relationship we have, because I can call you and we can cry together. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it, it's like, okay, let's link arms. Let's buckle up our big girl panties and figure out how we're going to solve this problem. Because going from hoping someone will help you and being stuck to what Julie is saying, relying on yourself, basically, there's this whole transition that just gets highly neglected when you're on especially the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. Like, it is so lonely and so isolating when you haven't found your tribe, when you haven't developed a tribe, when you don't know who you're supposed to talk to. And to find someone that is like, hey, I'm on this journey too, and we should definitely be friends, and it's okay to cry sometimes, but like, how are we going to solve this?
Yeah.
Like that.
It was such a blessing to find you at the point in my journey when I did. Because I do, I have family, I have sisters and brothers and all that good stuff. But you're absolutely right when you say you're generally, unless you've started to grow and you've started to understand that, having those influential people around you, so you start to build that tribe. Generally, your tribe is either your family or long-term friends that you had, what have you. But those are the same people that when either two things will happen. You tell them what's going on in your life, and they give you the first one, which is, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. You're a good person. Everything's going to work out fine, right? Or you have the other one and they're like, well, what do you expect? Get a job. Or are you chasing money over here? Just get a job. And you wouldn't have to worry about your bills, right? So those are like way different responses than you're going to get from, like, for instance, when I call you. It's different. You're going to give me the response that I need to hear. And that's, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk through it. Let's figure out what the issues are. And then let's team up, let's squad up and keep each other accountable of how we're going to handle this moving forward. And you're going to do check-ins, right? We're going to call each other, be like, how you doing? What's going on? Tell me, what happened this week. If we made plans to attack something that needed to be, remediated, you're going to call me and you're going to say, did you do it? I mean, as a matter of fact, Carlin texted me one time, she wanted me to do something and she called me a P, which means I was scared to do something. I'm just, you know what I mean. Okay. People who need to move forward. Did you do it?
That was a personal situation.
Okay. But that's, it's different. That's why you have to surround yourself with people like you, right? Because you're going to make sure that we're working together to get whatever the issue is solved. And then we stay on track moving forward. It's not going to be, you're not going to patronize me and say it's going to be okay. Or you're not going to say, stop trying to be an entrepreneur and get a job. You're going to hit it head on with me and you're going to keep me accountable. And those are the people that you've got to have in your circle. You've got to. It's just a must. There's no way around it.
It's fundamental to have people that are going to sit down and say, okay, what's the problem? Why is this a problem? What are your plans to resolve this problem? How are we going to set goals to change this? How are we going to create an actual plan to make sure you're moving forward? And I think that's where a lot of the disconnect is it's like, oh, you're having a hard day. I'm so sorry. That's so hard. When it's okay to have tough love. I'm not saying go call your friends a P, but
we can do that though, Carlin. We can do that.
That's a whole different situation. But being like, okay, Angel, I hear you. I resonate and I understand why you're feeling this way. I personally have felt this way too. Mm-hmm. How are we going to move forward on this?
Yeah.
How are we going to set goals? How are we going to create some expectations so this issue gets resolved? And I think that's where the genuine support and that's where the relationships get built. When you have someone that's like,
yes,
what are you going to do to fix this? How are we going to do this? Let's make a plan.
Absolutely.
It makes all the difference.
And Julie, you're so right. It is all about taking risks. Anytime you're on any type of entrepreneurial journey, it's all about taking risks. One of the biggest things for me, even like doing these podcasts, I hate pictures. I hate to be on camera. And just the fact now that I can sit here and have this conversation comfortably with you, make goofy faces and do, whatever, that's miles away from where I was a year ago. I didn't, I preferred to be the wallflower. I like to be the wind beneath your wings kind of girl, right? I didn't want to be in the forefront of anything. But, as I've grown and I've been pushed to do this more and more, the reward has started to outweigh the fear of doing it because I get such great feedback when, we sit on here and we share stories. You forget, you get caught up in your own stuff all the time that you forget that what you're going through, so many other people could be going through it. And if you're not sharing how maybe you've overcome that challenge, you're cheating people out of that. So I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to do these and to grow and to feel a little more comfortable in front of a camera because, I can think back to times when I watched somebody else do it and how much something resonated with me or how much learning I could just pull in from what somebody was saying. Like, I've been there. Oh my God, you're talking right to me. This is it. Oh my God, I've been there, and I hope that, as we do these and we move forward and talk about different things, that we also are going to be able to provide that moment to somebody when they go, damn, this is exactly what I'm going through. And hey, that's a great way to try to move forward. thank you for sharing, how you overcame that obstacle, because now I can try that and hopefully overcome that obstacle too. So, it's fun, and I appreciate everybody, and I hope it does resonate with at least one of you guys, because
It's
we all need to learn how to ask for help, and find those people that you can reach out to that are going to push you, like Carlin and I push each other all the time. We
all the time. It's just it's encouraging someone to be uncomfortable. And I personally have found joy in being uncomfortable. Like something that made me nervous and scared and anxious and like almost to the point of nauseous.
Yes.
Like the first time when Jesse and I started TGIF, I cannot tell you how fast, like I was sweating. I was like, okay, keep my arms down. Like, don't lift my arms up. This is embarrassing. and now it's just like, I love it. I love getting to interact with people, and it's a daily growth. It's a daily process.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not something that you're just like, oh, I did it once and everything's great. Like that anxious feeling, that little knot in my stomach, that was there for a good 2 or 3 months. But having people like Miri and Larry and Jeff and Grady and Julie and Pansy and all these fabulous people that are there like cheering you on, you don't realize how many cheerleaders you have until you actually get to embrace that.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, dude, I love doing podcasts now. I love being able to be on here with you. I love being able to see all your lives in revolt. Like, it's been such a transformational process. And
I'm still working on it. I mean, I'm much more comfortable than I used to be, but it still hits me sometimes. Little bit of nerves, but that's good. And I have definitely learned to embrace the uncomfortable. That's a hard one. You guys. And to do that on a daily basis, not just every now and then when something pops up that you kind of don't want to do because you never did it before, but when you're placed daily in a position of not being comfortable, you learn to adapt really quick. And over this last year, daily, I was put in a position where something or someone made me feel uncomfortable. And I don't mean that always in a bad way. Just it may have been a moment of fear that came over me, or thinking that maybe I couldn't do something when I know I can. I can do anything, right? All of us, we can all do anything. But you have those moments of doubt. Doubt, fear, all those things. So over time, if you're being put in that position, in that uncomfortable spot every day, it almost, not that it doesn't become uncomfortable, because you're always going to have that level of uncomfort when you're doing something new or doing something that you just have to do to push to the next level. It just becomes easier, and you're more accepting of it. You're like, okay, don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. And we're just going to get through. We're going to go through it and get to the other side. Right. So, because that's all it is fear or doubt or all those ugly things that you tell yourself. So if you can just find one uncomfortable thing every day to push through, it starts to get a whole lot easier. So much easier.
So I learned how to drive on a Standard. Okay. I swear I have somewhere I'm going with this. And I remember my first car was a 1993 Toyota pickup, bench seat. And I remember very specifically stalling this truck at an intersection in
were you on a hill?
Yes.
I did that too.
And I remember sitting there and my dad was cracking up, and I'm like crying, I'm sweating. The light has gone through 3 different cycles. There's a line of people behind me honking, flipping me off, yelling. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there crying in the truck, just mortified. And I looked at my dad and I just remember going, Dad, please, please trade spots with me. Please trade spots with me. And he looked at me and he's like, Carlin, you're not going to learn how to do it until you try again. And I was just like,
Yes.
And so every time something uncomfortable happens, I think of my dad and I think of the look on his face and the amount of cars behind me that were just screaming, hurry up, get out of the way. And it just, I never realized how important that moment was in my life until I got into entrepreneurship. And I just imagined, hurry up, get out of the way. Where's the underwriting for this? How come this doesn't have a T12? And it's just that little extra boost because it's like, this is important. I have to learn. I have to push myself. This makes me so uncomfortable. And I'm pissing off so many people just sitting here. And there were people, I'm not even kidding, Angel. There were people that cheered for me when I got my truck through the intersection.
It's so funny that you share that story because I had the same thing when I first learned how to drive. I learned how to drive a stick, of course. And at the time, my boyfriend had an old Mustang. It was a stick. And so anyway, he was going to let me, I just got my license. And he was like, okay, you can drop us guys off wherever and you and the girls can take my car and go out. And
brave man.
Nice Mustang, and so I was feeling myself driving this Mustang, right? And then we get onto a hill, come to a light, but it's at an angle, right? So it's up. So I'm the first one in this long line of cars behind me, and knowing that this person behind me just kept creeping up on my bumper. And I'm like, as soon as I let off this clutch, it's over. And I'm going to wreck this beautiful Mustang. And look like an idiot, right? So it's like that moment when you just got to put it on and focus. And I did it. I mean, I came off the hill, did it perfect. But it reminded me of that because I'm like, oh my God, that moment when you're like, it's kind of do or die, right? So uncomfortable. It's do or die, but you learn how to push through, and hopefully you come out successful. But
push through and push the gas is what I learned.
Yeah. That is so funny.
Drop the clutch, throw the gas, just go.
I'd still take a stick over automatic any day.
Any day. I drive an automatic now, and it's not satisfying. Like, doesn't hit the same.
I have a Buick LaCrosse, and it's actually both. So you can drive it as manual or stick. And so my son, when he was teaching him how to drive, he was like, what is this button right here? And I was like, oh, if you want to try to learn how to manual shift, I can show you how to do that. And I hadn't really used it before. So I was like, oh my God, how easy is this? I mean, you don't have to do anything with the third pedal anymore. You just push a little button, you hit those right RPMs and push it and it goes right into the next gear. And I'm like, never mind. It's not even worth showing you. Just stick to the automatic.
It's no fun if there's a third pedal.
When you can drive a car that's a stick, eat, drink, honk the horn, wave at people out the window, all while you're trying to shift gears and do everything else, then you're a real driver. That's my opinion.
I'm just gonna sidetrack on this one real quick. My brother and I got so good at driving together. I won't tell you what activities we were doing to be able to develop this skill, but I'd go, okay, you got the wheel? Yep. Clutch. And he would shift for me.
Yes.
Like that's, but you have to develop the confidence to get to that point. Yes. Like life is like learning how to drive a manual.
Absolutely.
It's going to suck a lot for a little bit until you learn how to do the things. And then as soon as you figure out where the clutch is, how to shift at the right point, it's all easy sailing from there. And then at that point you can have your friends learning how to drive your car too.
That's right. So yeah, it's you got to learn how how to be okay with the uncomfortable. And it's hard. I'm not going to say it's not. It's hard. But you got to do it. Funny intro. You're right, Julie. It is funny. Yeah, absolutely, Terry. Nike said it best. Julie, ride that clutch.
Yeah, Julie, I don't know if you heard my story, but I had a Honda Civic that didn't start with the key. And I actually learned how to drop the clutch by parking on hills. Yep. I could drop it reverse, forward, anything. All I needed was like a 2-degree decline. Way good. But it's a good testament. Like, it's the best example I can think of to learning how to embrace that challenge, because I mean, once you figure out how to drive the car, like, you're hot shit. It doesn't matter if you're in a piece of shit. It doesn't matter if you're in nice shit. Like, like, once you learn how to drive it, that's just it's a flex on people. You're like, I can shift. I can reverse. I can pop the clutch, and that's basically the same way. Honestly, entrepreneurship is. You have to grind a couple of gears. You might go through a wall or two. I almost went through a couple walls trying to figure out the clutch. But like, once you figure out where that point is, it becomes comfortable. It becomes your norm. And now next thing
you think about how much more control you have driving stick. You really have control. If I'm out in snow, anything like that, I'd definitely rather be in a manual.
Oh, totally. Any day.
And and just to connect that back to entrepreneurship, it's the same thing. Because when you learn how to control it, you learn how to pivot, you learn how to pop that clutch when you need to get going and you're stuck. I mean, all that stuff, it's the same as entrepreneurship, right? So when you can master that, you got to win. You got to win.
You might be going 10 down the highway, or you could go 120.
That's right, Julie. Drive it like you stole it.
120.
All day long. All day long.
It just becomes, and it's a testament. Once you figure it out, it becomes an enjoyable ride. Then you get cool friends like Julie in your car, and you get to go steal Toyotas and stuff.
Absolutely. I know we need to have a gathering at your place, Julie. Gorgeous, and all the women need to go and drink a lot of wine and
arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts.
We definitely gonna have to do that.
So
yeah.
Man.
I think there are I don't know. There are just so many advantages that come from surrounding yourself with people who truly support you, who truly want to see you do your best and will help you. They will not let you fail. And they're there when you do need that push, when you just need clarity. Those people are going to do that for you. And so I just can't express it enough how important it is to really take stock in the people that are around you, because those are the people that are going to get you to your next level. And if they're not, I think I said it last week, you might consider a strategic change out of the people in your life.
It's when your friends become when they start peer pressuring you into good things, that's when you know you have the right friends. Like I can say, you, Jesse, my husband, James Ziegler, Chris, you guys are all going to peer pressure me into doing something better for myself.
Absolutely. Well, we have to keep pushing you. I mean, it's part of our job, Carlin. We have to keep pushing you. That's, how are you ever going to get better? How are we ever going to get better?
I'm pretty sure it's in the SOPs.
Absolutely.
Right. In the
Yes.
job description, it says make your friends better.
Yes.
So, Angel,
Well,
thank
and from
you.
that, we luckily have you know, I think everything does happen for a reason. And sometimes you're blessed in a way to represent to others, you know, and we have you know, we're lucky we have a platform to talk about this stuff. A lot of people don't. Um, and I don't take that lightly. You know, if I can't come on and bring you value, then, you know, you need to replace me with somebody who can. Simple as that. You know, that's if that is our goal is to bring value to people, to bring growth, learning, and you know, we're not showing up and doing that, then you know, you sometimes you got to change things out.
Oh man,
Can't wait, Julie. Can't wait. Yes, we do need to do it.
we will
Absolutely.
do it. It'll be arts and crafts all day.
I kind of
I
like the wine. Look, well, I don't really like wine, but you know where I'm going with it. We can arts and crafts too, but I'm kind of pushing toward the wine.
arts and crafts is fun with wine.
Okay. Okay. As long as we're going to pair them together.
No,
I'm
they
good.
have to be paired. It's like cheese. Like you have to. Actually, let's bring the cheese too.
Aw. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, Paula.
I do appreciate that. I mean, I genuinely appreciate that because that's the go. And like I said, if we're not doing it, you know, we're not. So I appreciate you saying we are. That makes me feel great. All right. All right. So you want to bring it home, Carlin?
Yeah, guys, all this to say, if you found value out of this, please go onto the Facebook page and post that you're looking for your tribe. Find a couple people that are going to become lifelong friends, honestly. People that are going to push you and encourage you and start building a relationship. Because business is no fun if it's strictly business. It's way more fun when you're doing it with someone who's there to push you every day and hold you accountable and tell you and teach you how to be better. Yeah. So go post on the page, find your tribe, guys, and thank you so much. Gotta go. I need to start a podcast about nothing. Do it. We'll come hang out with you. So Thank you guys. Thank you all. Thank you, Julie, for being here. Paula, Larry's gone, but thank you for Larry being here. Thank you guys all for just continuously showing up and being a support system. And I really, really hope that you guys found some value in this. And book clubs tonight. So if you want to find some people who like reading books, we'll be getting together at 8 p.m. Eastern time because no one speaks Mountain Standard.
Perfect. All right, you guys have a great week. And again, make sure you're posting, try to find your tribe because they're the most important piece of your support system period. Just period. So good luck. If you need any help, just let us know.